a former cast member of 19 Kids and Counting according to court documents. Reality TV personality Josh Duggar's request to have his conviction reversed was officially denied, and he is currently serving time in prison. Josh was socially isolated when the accusations were made, and he had already been involved in issues prior to his arrest, even though it happened in the middle of 2021. Josh is a member of the Duggar family, who gained notoriety in the 2000s for a reality show that followed their massive and quickly growing fundamentalist family. Josh married Anna in 2008, and the two of them now have 7 children together. According to records In Touch was able to get, Josh's legal team first filed an appeal earlier this year, but the United States Court of Appeals for the 8th Circuit upheld his conviction. Josh filed the appeal in June 2022 in an effort to suppress incriminating statements he provided to the investigators. Due to demands for time extensions, the appeal was not examined for nearly a year. Josh is incarcerated on suspicion of having sexually explicit images of children and was given a lengthy prison sentence earlier this year for allegedly having a cell phone. Josh's attorneys initially requested a new trial to have damaging evidence removed from his case. Josh's legal team also pointed to the fact that Josh was deprived of the ability to communicate with legal counsel during the raid at his company a year prior to his arrest as another reason for Josh's treatment. Josh's team is unable to request additional extensions because the legal system has denied his requests. The legal team argued that there was enough evidence to support a mistrial. The appeal was sent to a higher court after being rejected by a lower court in August 2023. Since Josh's arrest, which has been controversial because of his well-publicized conviction, the Duggar family has mostly kept quiet. Certain family members of Josh have deliberately chosen to keep quiet about Josh's wrongdoings. Josh's sisters, Jill Duggar Dillard and Jessa Duggar Seewald, have publicly denounced him when he has been abusive to them, making it clear that they do not support him or agree with his choices. The family and other fundamentalist families were recently featured in the well-known documentary Shiny Happy People, which explored the enormous family in great detail. Once admired for their large, devoted family, the Duggars are now embroiled in a legal and public crisis, and this decision is just one more chapter in their tale. Setting the scene. The initial conviction and trial. Josh Duggar's legal troubles started in 2021 after he was arrested and charged with receiving and possessing material related to child sexual abuse. His family, who had always shown themselves to the outside world as pious Christians who upheld traditional family values, was also troubled by the situation, in addition to his supporters. According to the prosecution, Duggar obtained access to and downloaded the illicit files while operating a used car shop. As the allegations emerged following a DHS probe, national media outlets were eager to report on the issue. Duggar's defense team said he had not purposefully possessed the material and that it had been planted on his devices by someone else. The evidence against him, however, was undeniable. The electronic devices that he owned were found in his home and car dealership, where illegal drugs were found. The prosecution used expert testimony to support their case against Duggar, demonstrating that the disputed data were intentionally moved to his devices. In December 2021, a federal jury in Arkansas convicted Duggar and sentenced him to 12.5 years in prison. Josh was a key figure in the Duggar family's television empire, so the decision shocked them. His conviction embarrassed the Duggar family and damaged their public image, which had been built on traditional family values and conservative Christian beliefs. How to make an appeal. Josh Duggar and his legal team refused to accept the ruling and filed an appeal, arguing against it on a number of reasons. The appeal argues that the trial was unjust and that the jury was influenced by prejudiced evidence. Duggar's defense team argued that the trial had incorrectly evaluated the inclusion of certain pieces of evidence and that his constitutional rights had been violated. Among other things, Duggar's defense team contended that the jury had been influenced by how the public saw her and how the case was reported by the media. They said that because of the negative media portrayal of Duggar, the jury might not have been able to evaluate the evidence rationally. Other concerns brought forward by Duggar's attorneys included the way digital evidence was managed and the observance of his rights during the search of his devices. Despite these arguments, the United States 8th Circuit Court of Appeals investigated the case and found that Duggar's charges lacked validity. The jury was given sufficient instructions on how to assess the evidence, the court ruled, and Duggar was found guilty based on the evidence presented during the trial. The judge determined that Duggar's constitutional rights were not violated during the trial or during the search of his devices. Consequently, Even though Duggar's request for a new trial was denied, his conviction was upheld. Opinions on the court's ruling. The court's ruling to uphold Duggar's conviction caused both relief and disappointment. Many legal experts were not surprised by the judgment, considering the overwhelming evidence against Duggar. His conviction was supported by unquestionable digital evidence, and his defense team's attempts to shift responsibility were repeatedly rejected as baseless. The decision to deny the appeal bolstered the legitimacy of the legal system by demonstrating that even well-known individuals can suffer the consequences of their actions. However, the Duggar family found the verdict difficult to accept. While some family members publicly supported Josh during his trial, others severed their ties with him after his imprisonment. To his family, the court's decision to uphold his conviction likely made them feel even worse. A lot of people are now interested in the legacy of the Duggar family and how they will handle the fallout from Josh's actions in the future. However, many child advocate groups and individuals who had closely watched the case expressed a sense of justice. The decision was viewed as a victory by those opposed to child abuse and pornography. The court's decision pleased victims' rights organizations because it demonstrated that Duggar was held accountable for his crimes regardless of his fame and social standing. Effects of the Duggar family brand. The Duggar family was a feature of reality television for a long time. The 19 Kids and Counting family recorded their everyday lives on television, in addition to their strong religious convictions and traditional family values. Due to their popularity as role models, the Duggar family was a TLC sensation for a considerable amount of time. However, when word leaked out about Josh Duggar's past wrongdoings, the family's pristine reputation began to fall apart. In 2015, it was revealed that Josh Duggar had been involved in a molestation case while still a teenager. He admitted to sexually abusing several girls, including several of his sisters, during that period. The Duggar spin-off series Counting On, which followed the lives of the older Duggar children, was canceled once the news broke. Even though Josh Duggar had apologized for his past actions, the public found it difficult to accept the Duggar family's reputation in the wake of these unsettling revelations. The situation for the family was made worse by Josh's 2021 conviction for child pornography. The populace quickly and strongly disapproved of him. Despite their best efforts to maintain a low profile, the Duggar family was once again the focus of considerable media scrutiny. The appeal's ruling serves as a harsh reminder of the consequences of Josh's actions, and it is yet unclear if the family will be able to restore their reputation. The problem for TLC, the network that previously shown the Duggar family, was equally challenging. The network felt obliged to distance itself from the Duggar family because of the gravity of the accusations made against Josh. Despite the fact that Counting On had already been canceled, Josh's legal issues have left TLC with a PR disaster. Prospects for Josh Duggar. Josh Duggar's conviction was upheld, and his appeal was denied. Therefore, he now faces a lengthy prison sentence. Since there are no more options for his freedom, he must accept the consequences of his actions. Perhaps though Duggar has admitted his guilt, it is rumored that his attorneys are considering other options, like asking for a shorter sentence or perhaps parole for their client. Given the seriousness of the accusations and the nature of the conduct, it seems unlikely that his position will change anytime soon. Josh's loved ones will have to deal with the consequences of his actions for a while, both in the public and private spheres. Some family members have already severed their relationship with Josh, while others could find it difficult to reconcile their beliefs with his criminal conviction. Whatever the family decides to do, the damage to their reputation is significant and their future in the spotlight is uncertain.